Hello, everybody. This is Dale Dickerson along with Coach Jason Russell. This week's edition of the Coach's Show. And, Coach, it's just a big difference in attitude and in your world experience when you go from a loss to a win.
It's amazing how winning does that for you. Yeah, it's we had a better weekend where everybody's excited, everybody's fired up, and we've been so close all year long with so many different games, and this was nice to get that good feeling.
Well, it was senior night, and I know I was talking to you earlier. There was a lot of kids that were parents right there taking pictures and stuff. It was a big win for our seniors on senior night.
Absolutely, I was excited for them. I mean, have an opportunity to walk off Pool Field as winners the last time, and have all that. I mean, that's a big deal for those kids,
Yeah.
and their parents were there, and some of them, an opportunity to play in front of family, friends that came out that don't normally come out and watch a game, and it means a lot to them.
Yeah, we had a good crowd Friday night. Let's talk a little bit about our rushing. Traylon Oliver just had another phenomenal game. He had 257 yards on the ground, and that's not even his best effort of the year. He had 258 earlier in the year, so now he now has the sixth and seventh best rushing single game performance in Olive Branch history.
Absolutely. I mean, people need to take notice. I mean, this kid can play some football now. I mean, he can run the football. He's a 4.5 flat guy. I mean, he can just absolutely fly. He can, he's strong. He carries the pile. I mean, he's not a big guy, but his strength level is really, really high, and he's able to slide through some of those little bitty cracks that the offensive line has. And in this particular game, I got to give some credit to the big boys up front. I mean, they made some holes. I mean, there's some holes that I could probably run through out there on Friday night, but they did a great job. And then of course Traylon, he made extra yardage constantly after first contact, and he had a great night.
Well, just a bit of trivia: the school record for rushing is 298 yards by fullback Sammy Jones back in 1978 versus South Panola. So he's in good company there with two of the top 10 rushing.
Absolutely, he's very close to that. With those two performances, 258, 257. He's knocking on the door every time. So
yep.
Yeah,
and he's got over 1,000 yards now for the year, which is a
right.
big deal for running back.
That's right. I think he's at 11-23. I think is the last I looked, and that's a great
two
season.
2 games left.
With 2 games left. That's right. So.
All right, we've got this week we've got a lot of highlights. We're going to start out with this is one of the Traylon Oliver's first runs early in the ball game.
We start out here, and just, there's a great hole there. But again, the story of the night is Traylon making that first guy miss.
Yeah.
We've got a great hole that he runs through. The offensive line does a great job, does their job, gets him through to about 8 yards, and then he breaks a tackle, and he's just gone. And that's kind of the story of the night. It takes both sides. It takes a good line, and it takes a good running back, and both guys were doing their job.
All right, we got down here and kind of stalled out on our drive, so let's go look at Austin Taylor's field goal here.
Yeah, unfortunately we had some penalties down here and got the drive stalled out. But so proud of this kid right here. I mean, this kid's a freshman out here, a big-time pressure situation, long field goal. I think that, what was that, like a 32-yard field goal? And, rivalry game. Stands are packed on both sides, and here he comes, just ice in his veins, just comes out there like it's just practice and just kicks it right through.
I was going to say, he had a couple of field goals, and he looked very good and very smooth on both of those field goals. So
he accounted for 8 points of the game. I mean, that's huge. You talk about a freshman, a kid, we get 3 more years, and he's going to do nothing but improve, and his leg strength's going to get better, and we're really, really excited about him.
I think he's going to be a really good one for Olive Branch. All right, the next one, we got another run by Traylon Oliver. This one.
Yeah, I was real impressed by this run. His patience, and he just kept climbing. He didn't try to force anything. He just took what the defense was giving him, and they were giving him that angle. And then the last second, he puts his foot in the ground, and he runs it almost like a stretch zone there at the end, where he just puts his foot in the ground and gets vertical and gets another 5-6 yards. And, I mean, those hidden yards that he just picks up just constantly, they really add up throughout the game.
All right, we got another long pass here from Braden Wright to Darren Wilson here. This is a beautiful pass and catch here.
Absolutely. We have throwing an inside fade here to Darren Wilson, and just, I mean, they've got great coverage. They're right on him. And Braden puts the ball just right where it needs to be,
Yep.
and and of course Darren Wilson makes the catch, tough catch right there,
It
contested.
is a good
and
tough catch. Now this
it's
was a
fun to watch.
bizarre sequence here where we just completed that pass.
Yep.
And the next pass or the next play, Braden Wright gets strip sacked, and we lose about 20 yards, and Center Hill takes the ball over.
That's right.
Right toward the end of the first half. Now let's go to this next pass. This is when Center Hill tries a reverse.
Yeah. I think there's 38 seconds left to go on the clock right here. And so they're trying to get a big play to come in before the half and kind of, put the game in. Right now it's 10-3 them, and they have fumble right there. We recover the fumble on the 30-yard line, and of course we're fired up, and there's about 25 seconds left to go on the
Right.
clock, and now we have the ball back with a chance to go score. And I don't.
I think we're down 10-3 at that point.
That's right.
So
we're down 10-3.
less than 30 seconds left. So let's look at this next play. This is an amazing play here.
Yeah, we thought we call a little curl route right here, and we get a little bit of pressure, and Braden does a great job just keeping this thing alive. Right here's got a little pressure in his face where he wants to throw it, and he just keeps it alive. Darren Wilson does a good job moving himself to the open part of the field and finding some space in the defense, which is what we teach them on scramble drill. Find the space in the defense. He's in that intermediate route with that curl route, so he just needs to find a hole, and that's what he did. Braden finds him downfield, and sometimes your biggest play in your passing game are breakdowns and on that scramble drill, and that's what that was.
Well, that was a big play because it tied the ball game up at halftime, and
Yeah.
Braden made a great throw because if you watch the film, he looked a lot like Marat Corral because he had to sidearm the ball where he was rolling left, and he sidearmed it, and he hit him right on target.
Absolutely, he's got that little. I like it when I see him do that and just come down and just take a little bit off of it, come from that little bit of different arm angle, and he seems to do a good job when he does that.
Yep, that was good. All right, let's see here. Let's go back now to Flip Sanders. This is one I held my breath when Flip was off the ball.
Absolutely. Well, he catches it twice here, so
Yeah.
you had to hold it for a little bit of time. We're running a little screen here to our second receiver, a little bit of a now screen, and we're blocking out here on the perimeter. We're a little late getting out at tackle, and but he hits it. He goes to catch it, and it bounces up, and thank goodness he's got his eyes on the ball the whole time, and he was able to catch it and go pick up a big first down.
Yeah, it was a big first down play. All right, looks like this is going to be Traylon Oliver scoring his touchdown tonight, about 8 yards out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're exhausted at this point. We've leaned on them in the run game, and I mean they're just they're beat up, and that goes to our big guys up front. I mean you can see right there, he runs that one in, doesn't even get touched.
I was going to say I don't think he got touched on that one. All right, let's see. Now we get down toward the end of the game. Center Hill's moving. They're down in the red zone and trying to score and get within a field goal. So we have a big defensive stand here. This is
Absolutely.
Jerry Wall having a great game on this play.
Look, Jerry Wall had a fantastic game. Jerry Wall played safety for us right here. He's playing nose guard. I mean, who plays nose guard and safety? But that guy, he's just got a unique skill set. And he's so quick off the football and strong enough to mix it up in the box. And so we wanted to use his unique skill set to where we could attack and put some pressure on their center. They've had some changes at center, had a guy coming back from an injury. And so we just wanted to put pressure on that spot. And anytime you do that, you just, that's your exchange. And we caused some fumbles. Jerry caused a fumble in there playing nose guard as well. And just, it makes everything difficult when there's a guy right there on the center, and it just puts pressure on that quarterback. Yep. And, Jerry did a great job. He did a great job at safety. We played him at linebacker. I mean, he was just all over the field.
Well, we got down to the third down, and Center Hill was probably around 3 or 4 yard line, and we had one more defensive stop here.
Yep. Bring their motion right there. They did a lot of freeze off their motion so they could see what we were in, see what we were adjust. You can see how we're in the stack linebacker position. There's Jerry in that star linebacker position. And they take it outside, and this is why we did that, is so that Jerry, which you can see him in on the tackle right there, it gives him an opportunity to play the dive, but also if the dive's taken, he can run laterally and help out with the quarterback, and he's on an angle even if he does pitch it. I mean, he's just
that was a big
guy.
Defensive stop because it forced them to kick a field goal, even though I think it was mix-up. They called a timeout that they didn't have. And
That's right.
Officials
That's right.
backed them up 5 yards, and they kicked the field goal. But then we got the extra point to seal, or the onside kick and seal the win. But it
That's
was
right.
it was a good win for us, and I was just really excited for our players. I saw them all run after the handshake. They all run over in front of the band and just really celebrated. And it was really good to see the kids have that much fun.
That's what it's all about. I mean, these kids needed a good experience and have fun, and I enjoyed it because they ran over there and they all were having such a good time, just jumping around, just celebrating the win. And for what we've had as a tough season, to see our kids getting to enjoy themselves and have fun right there in front of their home fans. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. All right, let's talk a little bit about next week. We've got Lewisburg on the road. We've got 2 road games left, and Lewisburg is next week.
That's right. That's right. Lewisburg they do a really good job offensively. They're going to give us a bunch of different formations to line up to. They're going to, make it difficult to where you have to constantly move and shift, and they bring motions constantly. They shift their H-back around. They do a lot of things just to get you with some window dressing, and then they're going to run power read, and they're going to run power, and they're going to run pin and pull type schemes, and then they're going to throw the ball well enough. They're about a 50-50 run to pass team, and so we're going to have to defend the entire field on defense, and then offensively, Coach Hector is a defensive guy, and he does a good job getting those guys in the right spots, and we're going to have to make sure that we do a good job of maintaining our blocks and being where we need to be.
Yeah, we'll just have to execute next week. This is just our 5th meeting in the series. Olive Branch has never lost to Lewisburg, so this is another in-county rivalry game that we need to take care of business next week.
Absolutely. Well, you look at and of course Center Hill, and then you look here. Every game's a big game in the county because the schools that are new are schools that have basically are in the Olive Branch area that came from when they broke apart Olive Branch. So any game that we face that's a new school is a big rivalry because it's the proximity and of those kids, and then any game that's an old game is a big game because all the historic games between like us and South Haven and Hernando, and so every game's a big game. It's almost like rivalry week every single week in the county.
Well, most of these kids, I noticed even in the Center Hill game that a lot of the kids knew each other.
That's right.
I mean, they hang around together in the summer and everything else, maybe during basketball season. Mm-hmm. So they're playing against people they know, which really makes it intense.
It's kind of funny. We were talking about that. We were talking about one of our kids was out there in the game, and he was jawing or messing with one of the other kids on Center Hill, and one of the other players was like, "Hey man, calm it down, calm it down." He's like, "Man, that's my cousin." They were just, literally their cousin on the other team, and so they're just kind of, jawing back and forth and having fun like cousins would do, competing against each other. So, yeah, you talk about close. I mean, it's close. I mean, like you said, neighbors and friends and even relatives.
That's bragging rights at Thanksgiving dinner for Olive Branch this year.
No doubt about it. That's a big deal for sure.
All right, we'll see, be bringing you the ball game 7 o'clock Friday night from James Brady Field at Lewisburg. I hope to see a big contingent of fans from Olive Branch make the trip down to Lewisburg, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks for tuning in.